Gentlemen, to another episode of Shop Talk. I am your humble host, Brother B, and tonight I got a special guest with me. I got a subscriber of mine that has been following me, apparently from what he said, from 2016. I don't know much about tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen. He reached out to me, and I'm a man of my word, and I said, if you reached out to me via email, I put you on the show. And for those who have reached out to me, believe me, I will get to you. But with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you tonight to our host, our guest. Again, I'm Brother B, and our guest tonight is, go ahead, brother, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name's Gilbert Flores.
Nice to meet you, Brother Flores. Brother, you mind if we call you Brother Gill?
I'm good.
Brother Gill. All right, so answer me this then, brother. Where you from? Where you out of?
Arlington, Texas. Right in
Arlington,
between
Texas.
Dallas and Fort Worth. Yeah.
So what kind of population are we looking at there?
Man, millions, man. I mean, well, I'm right in the middle though, so even Arlington's gotten, so much busier and populated over the last 20 years. So man, we're busy over here.
Do you let me ask you this. Do you service Dallas or the Fort Worth, or you service both, or
I really strictly stick to Arlington, the little areas surrounding it, and I might touch Fort Worth and Dallas just a little bit, just like on the edges, because it's so big, and you could be like an hour away from anywhere, So if I'm going on the edge of Dallas, where I'm from, that's easily 30, 35 minutes, either way from Dallas to Fort Worth.
and that's answer me this, brother. You're a one-man operation. You got some techs. You work for somebody.
No, just me. I've been one man since day one. Started part time doing it, and then just pulled the trigger about 3 years ago.
So you're a one-man show. You got started
Yeah,
3 years ago. And what made you do
yeah.
that?
Man, it's the whole getting out of the corporate America. A lot of the stuff that Mike Sneed said in Appliance Boot Camp, man, you get to a certain point in your life where you don't want anybody to tell you what to do. You want to do things your own way. You just get tired of the whole everything to do with corporate, And one day I got fed up with it, man. I actually, as a story, I actually had my 2-week notice in my backpack for like a year. And one time I didn't expect. I went to work one morning. We had a meeting. I didn't like how the meeting went, and I told my boss, "Man, I'm giving you 3-week notice." He's like, "What do you mean? You need to find another job?" I said, "Man, I already got one. I was doing it part time, probably for about 2 years before that." And
What were you doing? What was your background before you got into appliance repair? Like when you spoke to your boss, what position did you hold then?
Basically, it was for a local hospital, and I dealt with all the refrigeration there, commercial kitchen equipment, ice machines, walk-in coolers. So that was my prime responsibility, was taking care of everything refrigeration related, and
Dang.
appliances there too.
Oh, you're good for life, brother. Let me get this straight. Walk-in coolers.
Yeah,
I mean, walk-in freezers.
yeah.
What else?
Walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, pharmaceutical refrigerators in the kitchen. They even had appliances there on site to take care of. So basically, everything came through me to take care of. Um, Ice machines, that was all mine too. And after being there for 3 years, though, I mean, I used it. It was a good place to pick up more on my skills, and I used the corporate environment to be able to for them to send me to different classes across the country. Once, I don't think I was there about 3 years before I decided, you know what, man, I'm gonna get out of corporate America, but I'm gonna use every resource I have here to get everything I can as far as like learning, going to school, different refrigeration schools. Even though I had a background in HVAC, I still took their refrigeration courses. They sent me to like the Hosasaki plant in Atlanta to go over their ice machines. So I tried to use every resource I could. And then after that, I said, man, it's time to get out of here. When I started touching on it on the side.
I find that line of refrigeration is very esoteric. It's very hard to find training in that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys that will teach you that line of work. You can't learn that like on the fly. How did you get trained? What led you to that position? Like, how did you
Well,
land it?
well, when my interview, then they brought me in there because I had HVAC experience. So the guy that was there for like 30 years, and I told him in the interview, say, man, you know what? I don't know anything about ice machines. He goes, man, we'll show you. I didn't know anything. So when they introduced me there at the meeting, they stood me up and introduced me as their refrigeration expert. I'm like, whoa, whoa, I'm not a refrigeration expert. I know HVAC, but they just threw me in the mix, and I just started, they had nothing but those Hosasaki ice machines there on site, and just little by little, just started picking up on it. Learning how to break them down, and using the same basic theory to fix them.
And those tech support guys will help you too. You could call them.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of tech support involved in that.
Unlike the appliance
I
domestic,
learned I learned that real quick.
the knowledge is like, man, if you don't got no account with us or you ain't paying that membership fee, we're not helping you. But
Yeah,
on
I
the commercial side, what I've done is, and what I do commercial is, I do a lot of reaching stuff. I don't do no real like walk in. I don't do walk in coolers, but I'll do like when you go in restaurants, them big reach in freezers and all that. I'll fight with all of them.
yeah.
Um, I do refrigeration. It's just that I don't do like walk-in coolers or freezers. I haven't did that, but everything else I feel okay with. But my experience is that those guys are very helpful. The tech support, they'll a lot more than the residential. Like you're not gonna get on the phone with Whirlpool. It's not happening.
Yeah, I learned that real quick. So when I started doing it on the side, I kind of did it on accident because like I said, corporate America, you know, um, they give you all the overtime you want. Then when they started coming back on overtime, I was like, well, hold on, I need some control over this, So I started doing stuff on the side on the weekends, and um, I started working on refrigerators. When I get to something I didn't know, I was like, whoa, I can't just get on the phone and talk to Whirlpool like you're saying, So basically, you just have to do a bunch of homework, trial and error, learn. So that was one thing that's it's still there, the commercial as far as tech support, but not that residential, man. Like you say, really, man, what I learned, you gotta have a network. You gotta have a
Yeah.
network of people to talk to, because I didn't have that at first. I felt like I was just a lone wolf, and after doing it for a couple of years, um, once I got out there, though, I said, man, I got to do something and figure something out here, and get a network of people that's doing this to kind of exchange information from. But yeah, for sure.
So let me ask you, because you're not the first person I've heard this from. You went to school for HVAC, am I correct?
Yes, yeah. Back in the day, I started with HVAC, and I thought I knew everything. But when you go to school and you get the theory, it backs up everything you've done on the field. So I kind of did everything backwards. I think I did like 10 years in the field. Then we went to HVAC school, where I did, and then you go over all the theory, and they throw you in there, and they'll strip a unit completely bare and say, rewire that, no schematics. I'm like, all right. And that's, you get in there and learn the control part of it, then the high voltage part, and kind of pick up on that. But yeah, I went to school for that. And those vocational schools, they're not that long, and you're not really going to pick everything up. That's something that you have to be on the field to really learn everything.
Brother, you're the second guy. The second guy. I've had less than 10 guests. And out of those 10, less than 10, two already have said the same thing. They started in HVAC school and then
Mm-hmm.
they went to appliances. One way
Mm-hmm.
or the other, they started in HVAC and ended up finding their way into appliances. Like myself too. I went to school too in San Diego. I did
Mm-hmm.
a semester of heating and air. Got my diploma in all vocational school. And those little schools, man, I'm gonna tell you something. That's the way to go, in my opinion. There's these
Yeah.
people that rack up this $120,000 college degree in basket weaving or something and get out and make 30, 40K. A guy
Yep.
goes to VAC school or appliance repair school or whatever, 8, 9 months, he gets out, he's making 20 bucks, 20, 25 bucks, 15, 25 an hour, or he goes
Yeah.
into it himself, whatever. But definitely vocational schools, in my opinion, is the way to go.
Yeah. And especially like when you develop a niche like that for um, refrigeration or commercial appliances or any kind of sealed system, you stand out from the crowd. You know, I notice HVAC technicians, and there's a lot of them out there. So I've noticed that they don't really make as much as the guys that specialize like in the seal systems, like with appliances or kitchen equipment or freezer. Those guys are making some top dollar, you know?
Man, brother, my cousin owns a AC business, and he got like 6 or 7 techs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two of them do appliances and AC. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
Two out of the 7 do appliances and AC. The other 5 only do AC. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In Miami, South Florida right now, the weather's been like 70, 72, 68. That's our winter. The lowest it went to was 58, and I almost had
Mm-hmm.
a heart attack. But long story short, the AC demand isn't really big right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had to let his guys stay home. No work. No
Mm-hmm.
work. Because people don't need AC in the winter
Mm-hmm.
when here in Florida. So they just open up their windows. So the guy had to let everybody home, the 5 guys, and then the 2 guys that knew appliances, that was the only 2 guys that had full work the whole day. So I say all that to say this, to back up your point. These guys that get into HVAC school, and you look at a market, you're in a big city, and like there's 1,000,001 Joe Blows doing HVAC. There may not be 1,000,001 Joe Blows doing appliance repair. And like you
Right.
said, you get nice at one particular thing, sealed system or washers or whatever. It behooves you to be nice in everything. But like when you start carving your own niche, you're not gonna go hungry because of the weather. Appliance
No.
repairs, 365, 7, all of that 24 a day,
Yep.
in my
All
humble
day.
opinion.
Yeah. And I discovered too, there's a lot of money in the ice machine repairs. That's like nonstop. All these restaurants, all these bars, clubs. Yeah, there's a lot of money being made in those ice machines too.
Let me ask you something. Do you do cooking, like heat, like ovens and stuff?
As
Gas?
far, yeah, I mean, I pretty much work on anything. Now, ironically, once I went out on my own, I pretty much like stepped back from seal systems. As much as I worked on it, it's almost like I burned myself out. But I'm starting to entertain the thought and get back into it. I have all the equipment. I got the torches, the scales, vacuum pump. But I'm probably gonna get back into it here real soon. But I work, on gas and cooking and whatnot. So pretty much everything.
But that refrigeration, man, in my humble opinion, man, I know many of guys. I got a buddy, one of my buddies, he did episode 2 or 3 of Shop Talk, David Oliver. That dude did high-end repairs. That dude works on ranges, man, 1,200, 1,300. I don't want to put his business out there, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind. That dude
Yeah.
makes doing ovens and that cooking and the cooking appliances. But I
Hmm.
find that, man, I'm just a refrigeration guy, man. To me, it's more cleaner, it's more profitable, and it's no dispute, it's no back and forth with that, in my humble opinion. This is what it costs. You want to do it, or you want to go out and buy a $2,000, $3,000 new one. Not to be
No.
so cut and dry, because we follow the blue book, we do things, we're not here to kill the customer, but like charging appropriately, I feel like refrigeration, in my humble opinion, is the way to go.
Yeah, I've had a couple of jobs like that. I kind of regretfully turned it down. I passed it over to like a friend of mine. Daycare center's got a built-in refrigerator, compressors out. Man, that's easily $1,500. And it's just like I'm just gonna leave it alone. I got these other jobs lined up, but man, there's some big money in there, and I know that's one of those things. I said, man, I need to get back into that refrigeration for sure.
For sure, man. I tell everybody that, man. And if you could learn, if you imagine this, imagine you learn this, and you live in a town, in this a small town, right? And like your competition is almost zero to none. No one's really doing seal system, battling LGs, battling Samsungs, Vikings, built-ins. No one in your area is doing that. We're one of a few companies, if 1 or 2 companies in your area doing that. Do you know how much money you could make
Man, that's kind of like what Mike Sneed said. You're printing money at that point, pretty much.
I'm in a big city, but brother, I've been to 3 big cities, brother. Three.
Yeah.
And appliance repair is one of those industries that if you good at it, you can set up shop in a few months and start getting that phone to ring pretty solid, you know?
Yeah.
But if you in a small town, and I'm saying big cities, that's why I always ask you, like, what was the population? Because I've always been interested in looking into one of those little towns where no one's at, and maybe
Hmm.
helping those fine folks out in that little area. But my point is, that's why I ask you, like, how many people is there? Because man, you find a little foothold or a nice little town, and it's a good income, and there's not a lot of your competitors. Appliance repair is, like I said, going back to the vocational school. It's the in my opinion, unless there's something else I don't know. It's one of few that you could start with little to no investment, education. Now, education you can't play around with that, but it's one of those things that like less than a year, and man, you learned yourself a career.
Yeah, that's a minimum overhead in this for sure. Um, people, when they start business, they got to invest in all kinds of, building, advertising, and you're probably going to wait a year before you recoup and break even. It's not like that in this appliance industry. You pretty much start making money right away.
So let me ask you something. You're a one-man show. Do you answer the phones yourself?
I do. That's been one of my growing pains is those calls would come in, get flooded with calls. So I try to figure something out where I'd use an answering service. That didn't work. So I used a different one that works with my scheduler. It works okay, but it's not the same as having somebody actually take your calls and route you. So that's my next step. I'm working on that right now. But that's been a growing pain of mine for about a year and a half.
Do you have one of those like dispatch systems that like you input the customer's information and it shows you on the map where they're at, and do you have something
Uh,
like that?
I had to manipulate my scheduling software to put me in certain areas on certain days, so I can put it in, or they can go online, and it's forcing them to put themselves in different parts of the city on certain days. So I won't be available in one part of town. So I kind of did it myself, and then the answering service can do that, or they can go on my website and schedule like that too. But
That's pretty
I can
cool.
tell.
Your customers could go online and book their own schedule.
Yeah, so what I'll do, and I try to make it to where they can do that. So I'll offer like a discount to schedule online to try to keep it that way. So they see it, or if they miss my call, my recording will tell them schedule on the website, get 10% off your final repair bill. So it'll entice them to do that.
And do
And
you list your service fee on there?
the service fee is actually when they click on the website, when they click the link, a policy will come up and it'll let them read it and it shows them what their service call is before they get it. And all the services will show the service call. So it has it on there when they schedule.
I like that. So let me get this straight. You're on a job.
Yeah.
The customer's
Yeah.
talking to you. Your phone
Yeah.
starts ringing. You don't want to be rude and interrupt your conversation with the customer. But by the
Hmm.
time you finish with that and you reach your phone, missed call. You're like,
Right.
damn, I'll call them when I get back in the van or whatever.
Hmm.
You finish doing your thing. Then you mean to tell me that when the people go to the voicemail, your voicemail tells them go to the website, and on the website it lays everything out: service call fee, scheduling, and all of that, and they can input all of that, and you incentivize it by giving them 10% off.
Correct. Yeah. Try to kind of make them do that. Give them the 10% off the final repair bill. Um,
Like it.
yeah, that's it. That kind of implemented that probably in the last 6 months, and it seems to work pretty good. And once they're there, I pull up my pricing and ask them, "Did you schedule online? Okay, let me apply that 10% off." And everybody seems to be happy with it.
What I meant to ask you is, do you have like a app software or something where like you can input all your routes, I mean your jobs for the day, customer name, address, all of that, and then like you have like an app that'll tell you like check in, you could take photos, take notes. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, I use an app. I met with this guy when I first started, and he turned me on to this app. called Service Call Pro. It's a one-time payment, and it lets me keep all my customers on there. I can look at their history. I use that to invoice. I take pictures. I can send it to them, and make that work with my scheduling software. So it kind of goes back and forth. So when it even sends them a reminder. So I'll send them a reminder the day before and say, "Hey, so and so, we're scheduled to be there tomorrow. Just to let you know, we have our $69 service call. Please have somebody home over the age of 18. Please keep your appliance clear of any obstructions, and please have the appliance connected in its normal location and fully assembled, because I don't want to show up and it's in pieces." So they'll get that reminder, and then I'll
I
show
like
up, and they would have that, and it seems to work out. And that's just a learning
it.
curve right there, how to learn.
That's pretty dope, man. Yeah, I was a mess when I first started, man. I was a
Yeah,
complete disaster, bro. I used to write my schedule like on a piece of paper,
exactly. I'd walk around with a notepad. Yeah,
and lose the notepad. And my
yeah,
car was full of like invoices from
yeah,
parts, and on the
yeah.
back page, laying down like just ideas and order part number, blah blah. But yeah, I had to get myself together, and I encourage everybody to definitely do that. I'll put up a shop talk one of these days where I do like a preview of the software I use, but I definitely encourage that. Do you have like a 1-800 number? You got your regular phone?
Just a regular local phone number, and that comes to the phone. So really, on my phone, I put the do not disturb, and they automatically get my email, which goes, I mean, my voicemail, which is, I have somebody that professionally recorded it, and and it automatically it gives them an after hours message or during hours, even a high call volume. If I have a lot of calls, they'll get that message, and they'll direct them to, if they want to, some people call and they don't want to schedule, they want to ask questions. They can press number one, and it comes straight to me. And if I'm not with somebody, they'll get my message, or if they want to, um, leave a voicemail or go to the website. So that's my growing pain right there, trying to do that by myself before I get somebody online to do that.
What do you think? I think I know the answer, but I'm curious what you think the answer is. But what do you think would be your most important asset to get next? A skilled technician or a skilled customer service representative?
And it's got to be a CSR, probably get me in the right spot.
For
Yeah.
sure, bro. For sure,
Yeah.
bro. That by
Yeah.
far is the single best investment that one can make in this company, man. For
Yeah.
route management, professionalism. And it's something about, in my opinion, I got a daughter, a mother, all that. So I'm not sexist or nothing. But it's something about like when a woman calls and they talk to the customer, I don't know why, but it's like they always could get to them better than we can, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
And if you could get a good one that could weed out like the bozos and can kind of troubleshoot over the phone, and
Hmm.
she or he knows how to look up parts, like I definitely say, brother, you get a CSR, that definitely it'll probably cost you a little bit up front, but it'll work its way into being a profit in the long run, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what I was trying to figure out a way to do that where it's like you said, as far as it costing up front, try to figure a way around it to where maybe it's um I don't know, like a commission based type system. If it's a scheduled call, there's a percentage, they'll get off of it. So every call that's made, it's because it's a scheduled call, not somebody just kind of kicking tires around or just shopping around, because you get a lot of that, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You gotta know hiring is a thing in itself, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
Personalities you dealing with, you know what I'm saying? That could go left, or you invest time and effort, it could really work out for you or it could set you back. So that's something that, should be done with caution and like, really, 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 really go with your gut, you know? But
Yeah, that's the
you
hardest part, I'm sure, finding somebody.
And do you want to grow? Do you want to get more tax? You kind of satisfied where you at?
At first, I told myself, you know what, I'm good like that. But I said, no, you can't just stay stagnant, and doing it on your own. You get to a certain point to you get where you're at. You're like, okay, what's next? there's got to be movement. You got to, at the end of the day, you want to grow. So, to answer your question, yeah, I need to get that going, and then sooner or later get somebody on there. And I probably want to do that maybe in the next 18 months. But finding
How
the
many?
tech,
Oh, I'm gonna tell you a story about that. How many jobs are you doing roughly? Estimated average?
well, like per day.
Yeah,
Well, this goes back to I think you put a podcast or a video before about, I'm strictly COD, so it's low volume. I average anywhere from like 2 to 5 a day,
that's
you
not
know,
too shabby though, brother. That's
you
not
know,
shabby at all for a
and
single
that's,
guy.
yeah,
Huh.
and that's just, and that's average. On the low end 2, on the high end could be 5, that's just, and there might be a day where it's slow, there might be nothing, but that, it evens out, and it's just strictly COD though. So, um, I'm looking to I'm signing up with warranty companies, and that's going to change. But when you're COD, and I learned this a long time ago, you don't have to have that high volume. At least that's what I've figured out so far. The high volume, um, I guess with the warranty, is just a little bit different when you're doing COD. And those numbers you mentioned before, like that's right on point with that.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. How
Yeah.
may I ask if you comfortable with saying it? You don't have to give all the game, but may I ask, like, what are some, if not one or two, of your what strategies are you using to get you this calls? Like, are you on Google? Or are you paying AdWords?
I've never paid it. Well, I've done it before. So a lot of it was, well, maybe everybody started there. You start off on Craigslist like 6, 7 years ago.
For sure, I did.
You know, you get yourself on Google Maps,
Hmm.
get your Google ratings up, and a lot of people, they'll just type up and they'll find you on Google. And then, through years, and I probably got about 3 or 4 years into it. It's a combination between customers, referrals, local apps like the Next Door app. Um, there's local parts houses that'll refer. So it's a combination of the Google search, local parts house, referrals, repeat customers. All that's what kind of keeps my CODs keep coming in like that.
And brother, I advise you, man, get into the warranty. If you can handle it,
Uh huh.
because 2 to 5 single, one guy, that's not too shabby. But
Mm-hmm.
again, remember, and I'm only saying this was just my humble experience. But remember, something happens to you, the ship falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you got that tech, you could until you know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah.
and one thing I admire about what you're saying too is when you was saying that you gotta like a little bit of everything. You don't just
Mm-hmm.
put all of your eggs in one basket. Um, I had a story about that. One of my warranty companies, like, just all of a sudden stopped giving me work, and they were my bread and butter. I was getting work from them daily. Boom, 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 boom. And I took it for granted. And I didn't really play around with AdWords, or I didn't really work on my website like I should. I was just comfortable with what I had going on with them. And it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, when that phone stops ringing,
Mm-hmm.
scary feeling. No, and I had a tech too, just one. But
Mm-hmm.
thank God that I followed the blueprint. I'm on Yelp, I'm on this, I'm on that, I'm on every place. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I hand out my cards, and all my warranty customers, every single one of them, I give them my card. I give them my card, and then they give it to their friends, and so forth and so on. Safe to say that when that warranty company stopped sending me calls, and it was a glitch or something, like I failed to have provided them uploaded like current insurance. So by the
Mm-hmm.
time, like, I was like, what? You turned me off for that? Wait, who I gotta send it to? And I sent it to them. By the time they received it, and I was like, okay, turn me back on, they took forever to do it. So long story short, I was just eating off my CODs. But thank God, like you were saying, I'm in all the mixes. I go into a building, one of these high rises, condominiums. I'll show you got them where you at. Them valet people, here's my card. Anybody you know, I'll give you $20. That concierge, hey, $20. That lady at the supply store, hey, $20. Anybody you send me, blah 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 blah. Long story short, thank God I was able to survive that drought and still was able to pay my tech.
Hmm.
And the thing the COD gave me was, even if he did one job for me, one or two jobs, he was still able to cover his salary for the day. And I didn't like stiff my guy. He fed his family. Like that's, that was a big priority to me because people
Hmm.
depending on you at that point. Those are things you got to look at when you're a boss. And imagine that when you got three or four. But I say all that to say this. I'm definitely agreeing with you when you say about the way you spread out all your marketing tactics.
Yeah, and that's the thing with COD, at least for me, because I'm of one tech, just me. All it takes is one good day for a good week. I mean, you can have kind of mediocre days, but you have one solid day, that does the whole week right there. But again, that's just one with one tech. So I'm pretty
Can I
sure if
ask
you have another tech, that might change, but I don't know.
Can I ask you a quote unquote hypothetical question? What would be, keep it real though, if you feel like answering it. What was the most you think you ever made in one single day?
Man, let's see. I mean, just in COD, probably a single day for me, a good one. When you start flirting with a G, that's considered a good day right there.
Now
And
for
that's
my
that's
now
that's
for my
no.
subscribers who don't know what this young man just said, flirting with a G means close to $1,000. That's not too shabby, brother.
No, you can do that in a day. I mean,
I
that's.
I, I I'll tell you what I had. I had three seal systems in one day. You do
Mhm,
the math. I won't put the number out there. You don't know who's listening to this. But I
mhm.
had that happen to me one day, bro. You talking about a happy camper. Mhm.
Oh yeah.
What are you driving? What kind of vehicle are you using?
I just got like an SUV. I've had it since day one, and I'm not gonna get rid of it till it's done, till I can buy something cash. But I've had that SUV, and it's worked for me.
You ever get like questioned by the customers like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna come in a van."
Well, I got it wrapped. I got it partially wrapped, so it's got like I actually have a QR code on there, my Facebook, the website address, the logo, so it's identifiable.
Brother, I don't think I ever said this on here on YouTube, but you know what my first vehicle was? It's when I started doing appliance repair.
What's
I'm not
that?
even gonna lie. It was I shit you not. It was a 2002 all black Cadillac DTS. That thing was about it. That was my pride and joy. I was broke as a joke.
Uh,
I had a clean caddy. But anyway, when I first started in appliance repair, I had that, bro. And I put the little magnets on the side of the door. So imagine seeing like young 30-year-old guy, in his late 20s, in a Cadillac with doing appliance repair in your driveway. That's how I
oh
was.
man.
Yeah, until I bought an SUV, and then I wrapped that in the back, like how where you was at, and then that's when I just went the van route. And once
Hmm.
I went that, like that's probably the best thing I think that's available out there. And I push for all like single guys who are like
Hmm.
starting up to do that. I'm multi-tech now, and I'm trying to acquire another van now as we speak. So definitely trying to like push toward all vans is the goal. And I don't and I hope it's yours too, right?
Oh yeah, this is something I touch on what you said before, and I was trying to remember the word, and it dawned on me one day. Everything's about showmanship. Remember, you
Yeah,
mentioned that you show
yeah.
up with the right van, uniform, professional. Everything is it's all about showmanship. It starts, what you pull up in what you pull up in. So
Bro,
that has a lot to do with it.
you ever seen the Miele trucks? The Miele trucks?
Haven't seen those. No.
Yeah, they all shiny red, beautiful. Ooh,
Hmm.
nice. High gloss. Even
Uh
the
huh.
ribs are shiny. You ever seen the I'm not trying to say that like they beautiful, but it still makes it a presence. It rings a bell. But even Sears, A&E,
Mm-hmm.
hate them or love them, but their vehicles look all right.
Yeah,
Um,
they're clean.
you guys have Mr. Appliance in your neighborhood? Because I
Yep,
see
we
them.
got they're out and about. Yeah, we finally got one in Arlington. But yeah, you see their trucks. I don't know what they're driving, the Nissan or
Nah, they drive
transits or
yeah,
something.
transit.
Yeah,
Yup.
yeah.
But I got the ProMaster, the City. The
Mm-hmm.
little four cylinders, man. Them little things, man. That's what I'm trying to get next. The Transit or the MV. But those little four cylinders, man. Those things are great, man. Like $45, and you go up and down town for like 3-4 days. AC on
Oh
and
man.
crazy, right?
Oh yeah, man.
I, I had a V8 SUV I was driving. I was spending 900 a month on gas.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was putting
Man,
like
$1,000 a month almost. Man.
no, 900 a month is what I was saying.
Yeah, that's a
Yup, I
lot.
put like $30 a day in it, bro.
Yeah. So you're in Florida now. You were where were you at before, in California or?
San Diego, Cali.
Oh, okay.
That's where I started up, man. And that's if you go back to that first video, that's when I started the whole thing, man. Negative
Yeah.
$247 in my bank account. But man,
Man.
I had a GoDaddy website, you know. I had my
Yeah.
license from City Hall. I had insurance. I had some raggedy tools. Didn't know much about appliance repair, but hey, I was a small business owner. And look at me now.
Man, that's the way to go though. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Man, so how long have you been over here where you're at now?
I'll say like 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a little stint in ATL too. It was all right. It wasn't my
Okay.
cup of tea though, Atlanta.
Okay. I've been there one time. There's a lot of traffic out there. That's a big metropolitan area over there.
But it's a lot of money though that could be made out there. A lot of money that could
Yeah.
be made out there. Very clean city, nice
Hmm.
people ain't haggling with you like too tough. I liked it. It just wasn't my scene,
Yeah.
Wasn't my cup of tea. So let me ask you something. Do you have like insurance and stuff? Like who do you like what kind of policy you got? I don't talk about that a lot, but I had some YouTube guys ask me about that on the comments.
Yeah.
Like
That was one of the first things I got from day one. I wanted to make sure I had insurance, and even when I did it part time, that was like, man, 5 years ago. I went and got a $2 million policy, and then I figured out you can add on to that, like it covers like I think you add on like $10,000 worth like appliances if you damage the appliance. So definitely the insurance was a $2 million policy. I think it's 4 million. I just checked it. Actually, it's renewing, so it's actually higher than that. So I don't know if it's. I'd rather have overkill than not enough. So um, I got that. That was one of the main things I wanted to get. Now, what I did do recently, after kind of watching videos with everybody, checking out how everybody handles it, I ran a sole proprietor probably for about 3 years, and I just within the last month switched over to the LLC, which is something I kind of wish I'd done it before, but I needed to get that done. So that's something that I did. I went from a sole proprietor to LLC here in the last month.
congratulations, brother. Man, I'm happy for you, man. And you've only been doing this how long now?
Uh, this is probably about 3 years that I actually did it full time. When I worked at my other job, I was doing it probably for about 2 years just to kind of get a customer base. So, I look back at little Facebook memories, and I used to take my son with me because I'd work and get off around 3:30, have my son taken with me on. He used to call them side jobs back then. I told him, "Hey, son, they're not side jobs no more. These are service calls." You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And that was been about 5 years probably, but in total full time 3 years.
How old is he?
He's 12 now.
You gonna teach him the game?
Yeah, he's real into science, so I'll get him back in there. I used to take him with me because at that age, um, didn't really have nobody to take care of us. I said, "Get Saturday, son. We're gonna get out. We're gonna go do some service calls, and we take off and come back around 5 o'clock." And he'd go with me, carry tools. hold screws or whatnot, you know. But we got it done. I even got him a uniform shirt and a hat when we used to
The
do it back then.
customers weren't tripping.
No, these were the Craigslist customers back then. So they were they actually thought it was cool. Oh, it's cool. You bring your son with you. You're showing them how to do this work. But as I went full time, that's kind of when he's got older. I was able to have somebody take care of him, and I wanted to present a more professional appearance at that point. So that's kind of where I weaned off of that. But he's 12 years old. He looks like he's 17, so he'll show up and look like a helper now. So it's different.
Bro, let me ask you a question. Going back to your insurance stuff, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I don't want the
Mhm.
question to leave my mind. You ever had to use your policy?
Man, I haven't, man. Cross my
Thank God.
fingers. Man,
Thank
knock on wood.
God.
Man,
Word.
man, every time I walk into a house, I walk into a kitchen, I'm like the Terminator. I'm looking at the floor. I'm looking at how the refrigerator's at. Well, if there's a real wood floor, how much slack is there behind that water line there? Is that a copper water line? What kind of water valve is back there? If I turn that valve, is it going to leak? I look at everything. So I try to avoid it as much as I can to never have to use it, but it's there. But hope not.
Man, I don't know how dudes could do it without it, man. You
Man,
imagine, imagine. Let's paint a hypothetical here. Let's say that you go out on a job and you working on the ninth floor of like a 15 floor high rise in downtown, one of the more think prestigious buildings, the ones that ask you for the COI, which I hate those stupid places. Did
mhm.
they ask you for that too? Those COIs, those
I haven't had that.
certificates.
I haven't come across that one yet. No.
Man, don't you're not missing out on nothing. But these fancy places, you gotta call your insurance to put that building onto or location onto your insurance, which all that whole process takes time and cuts into your workflow, but whatever. You imagine that you doing a job on the ninth floor, and let's say that you forgot to like put a washer drain hose inside of the drain pipe and you leave it hanging, or you don't hook up whatever, and you
Hmm.
cause leak. They go
Oh
down
man,
floors. What kind of numbers that is? You talking 100,000, 200,000?
easy, easy, easy. And I
What
guess
what would happen if you didn't have the license? Because thank God we have it. But what you think happens to the guy that don't have it?
man, I don't know what to say on that one. Disappear. I don't know. Be on a run. I don't know. I don't know right there.
Oh man, shout out to the brothers, man, who got their license, their insurance together. For those who don't, get your act together. I use
Oh
a
yeah,
company.
it's worth it.
I can't
Whatever
say,
price it is, it's worth it. Yeah.
yeah, look them up. If you need advice, email me. But I'm not gonna say their name publicly, unless they, promote the channel.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, brother. So back to your son. You're taking them to the jobs now, still to this day, or is he back in school or what?
No, now he goes to school. He's old enough, and he's got a lot of stuff going on with school. So it's probably been about a year or two where I haven't taken him out, but it's coming. I'm probably going to show him how to diagnose like heating elements and just little simple things and kind of get him around a meter. Because when I took him, he was basically just kind of holding things for me. But I'm going to get him into the science behind what it takes. But he doesn't know yet. But he's going to take apart a Samsung dryer here probably the next year or something.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How are you with your like schematics and your troubleshooting and all that?
At first, I thought it was really good until I took an online course, and then I felt dumb really quick. I'm like, man, there's a lot I got to learn. So I went and took that class and went through the whole troubleshooting schematics, and now that's my favorite part. Being able to troubleshoot from the control panel without taking anything apart, man, to me, that's I have fun with that. I actually look forward to doing that more than anything. So I'm pretty comfortable now with the schematics and troubleshooting.
People don't realize how important that tool is. How important it is that like it cuts down your work time.
Hmm.
It's more cleaner, it's more profitable because you're not changing parts.
Right.
I see people this, man. If you could leave me with one tool, leave me with that, the knowledge to know schematics. I could figure out life with everything else, but if you can leave me with one tool, leave me with that. I'm
That's
sorry,
for
brother.
sure.
Technical difficulties here. All right, there we go. All right. Another thing, brother. What's your service call like in your area? How much you charging?
Right now it's 69. I'm probably gonna change it here, probably in the next couple months. But back in the Craigslist days, it was $49, and you'd have people complain about that. But I upped it up to 69 when I went full time. I did the numbers. It's probably time to bring it up a little bit, but that's what the service call is. And I called around and checked in my market. It's time to go up. So
Are you using Blue Book?
definitely now. Um, I I use Blue Book and I've been using it since day one. And I didn't realize when I went to one of the classes from my previous employer, I was in Houston, and there's this guy down here talking about business this, business that, why we should charge. And like, man, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. I didn't know until the next day. I said, man, that was the Dean Landers, the guy who wrote the Blue Book. I'm like, man, I should have. I'm, I stayed in the class, but he had another class the next day. I feel like I missed an opportunity, but I felt that I got lucky to listen to what he had to say. You know, if I had known he was the author of the Blue Book at the time, I probably would have paid more attention. But I have been using the Blue Book since day one and switched over to that online Blue Book, which I would recommend that because you can
That's the one I have. I recommend that too.
you can custom do whatever you need to do to that, but it's worth it.
No, and the parts, the my parts search, where like
Yo,
you
yeah.
put part number and like it shows you like 50 other stores like nationwide. You
All your
know,
vendors will pop up.
Even in Canada, you'll see like part houses that have it or that don't have it, and they give you nice pictures. And then what a lot of guys don't know is that like if you have like a lot of spare parts, you can put
Uh-huh.
those parts on that website, and like guys like parts that are NLA or hard to reach, and like you
Mhm.
got one or two of them, other techs will buy your parts because that everybody's going to that one little section. So yeah, I like the online Blue Book. I definitely would recommend that for everybody too as well.
Yeah, and they
What
came
kind of
out with some. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother.
They came out with something in the last 30 days called the same company a diagnostic tool where you can plug in the model number. You a lot of times I would go to repair clinic, look for parts where you put that model number in and what the problem is, and all the parts will come up that pertain to that. You can kind of get part numbers and compare it and go do a will call pickup and show up with all your. That's the same company that does the Blue Book. So they came out with this tool within the last 30 to 45 days, and it's actually worked out pretty good. It eliminates a lot of research and it highlights all the common issues that go out on it. So it's a good I guess add-on to that Blue Book.
Brother, what's your race? May I ask you? Are you Hispanic?
I'm Hispanic. My mom's from Central America,
Okay, there you go.
Nicaragua. Yeah,
Okay, and you speak Spanish.
más o menos como 80%. Depends who you ask. If I speak to like fluent Spanish speakers, they'll sit there and correct me. But if non-Spanish speakers, they'll probably think I'm good. So I can get myself in and out of trouble.
That's what's up, brother. That's what's
Yeah,
up, man.
yeah.
How long you been watching me on the channel? How'd you find out about this channel?
Man, this since day one. Back in the day, Bill Newberry. You remember Bill Newberry?
I
Late Bill
do remember
Newberry.
that guy. Man, what happened to him? It's like I
I
don't
heard he
see.
passed. I heard he passed away. And this was a couple years, about 3 years ago. He
No.
that was one of the first guys I would follow. And then I started, following him for like appliance repair. And um, the City Boys, I followed him for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And then you came up along with them. And this was all the time when I would stay up late from work, man. What I need to do to get out of this? What I have to do? And I'd watch him. You would pop up. I said, man, now there's people out here. There's somebody out here that's actually it's
Yeah.
motivating. This was like I said, 2016. I'll sit there and watch, and all these different videos would come up, and that's man. I don't know how long it's been, but one of my favorite videos, and I think this should be part of an employee orientation, is the characteristics of the customer and the technician. That video you put up, man, that's golden right there. That should be
Thank
part
you.
of an orientation. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Brother, I can't believe Brother Newberry died, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
You
he
know who
passed away.
died? The
Who's
Eric
that?
Hart brother.
Who's that?
Eric Kleiner, the dude who wrote the Bible, the big appliance
Oh,
repair book.
oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know that either. One of the subscribers commented on. I went on this arbitrary, and he died in 2017. Man,
Wow.
great guys.
Yeah,
But
I didn't know that.
that's where guys like you and I come in at, man, and we keep this thing rolling, man. And I'm glad that it's gaining traction now.
It
And
is. It's gotten a lot of traction in the last 3 years. I noticed it's not what it is now like it was even a few years ago. It's changed a lot. Got a
yeah,
lot
that's
of
what's up,
traction.
man. We're finally starting to gain our respect now. I feel like in the trades industry, and anybody
Yeah.
who got questions now, it's so much information out here now, So it's
Yeah.
it's there's answers that weren't available 5, 10 years ago. You had to learn the hard way, but now
Hmm.
you there's a lot of information out here, from brother all the other guys on here doing it, man. So I'm happy the way that the industry's going, man.
Yeah, me too, for sure, man. It's just changed a lot, and I think it's getting a lot more clout, and I like the direction it's going. It's it's doing pretty good.
Let,
Um,
let, let me ask you another question, brother. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
and in 5 years, really, my goal is to probably have like a field manager position. Actually, step away from the service call. Maybe go back and do quality control. Actually, have a couple of technicians and maybe doing all the legwork behind the scenes, training. That's pretty much where I would like to be in 5 years. Have a few techs and just kind of slowly back away from actually hands on. I'll get out there and do it, but not the day to day. That's pretty much a 5 year goal at that point, is to get there.
That's what's up, brother. What about in 10 years? I'm gonna pick at your brain a little bit if you don't
T-
mind.
10 years, we'll see how it goes. I'll probably be, let's see, my son's 12. Um, Maybe showing him what I'm doing behind the scenes to get him kind of going, and maybe at that point have like a actually legit, um, solid foundation on the family business that can actually be taken over and actually have something going that I can pass on to my kid. So you know,
Amen, brother. Man, brother, I pray that the universe fulfills all. All right, brother. I'm sorry. We had some technical difficulties there, but yeah, man. I pray that the universe answers that dream of yours, man. And every time that you go into a customer's home, man, and you putting on that good performance, you doing that good work, and you leave your card. That's you spreading like a seed. The next time
yeah,
those people help, they're gonna holler at you. Their friends, they're gonna all go to you. And then you leaving that behind to your lineage, your son. You leaving him all your good seeds, and then he will take on all of that and spread his own in addition to yours, and
yeah.
so forth and so on. And you get an outstanding name in the community. You imagine a company that has 30, 40, 50 years plus solid reputation in that community. They don't even probably pay AdWords or nothing like that, and they probably get 30, 40 calls daily.
That's golden, man. It seems like it's hard to come by these days.
It's a marathon, brother. It's like you got to be in it to win it from start to finish, man. That's why
Yeah,
companies that do shady work and shoddy work and stuff like that, they'll weed themselves out. When you see a customer that you see a company that got the same name for like years and years and years, and that name is solid, and ain't really no kind of foolery attached to it. That's
hmm
a company a customer will go with. you one of these brand new hole in the walls. Yeah, you could flash it up and do this and that, and you'll get clicks, but you gotta pay for that. When you do good
Yeah.
work, you ain't gotta pay for that. The work will find you for free. That's
Yeah,
my
that's the truth. Yeah, it'll come to you, man. When you get a good reputation, it just comes down to this, man. You do the customer right, you take pride in what you do, it's gonna come to you. You know, it's something you can't buy with AdWords and stuff like that. Man, it's integrity. It's something that people respect to this day. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe the old school mentality. I don't know what you call it, but something you can't buy. You know,
How old are you, brother? If you don't mind me asking.
man. I just turned 46, so
Brother, that's
yeah,
great news. That means for all my brothers that are 46 out there that are questioning themselves, like, man, I'm working this deadbeat job. I hear this dude talking this appliance stuff. Is it for real? I mean, you live in proof. So, man, that's dope, man. Body carrying
yeah.
up, body handling it good, no problems.
No problems, knock on wood. Something I wish I'd done 10 years ago. I kind of touched on it. Um, Maybe about 10 years ago, I actually was let go of a job and in between, and I started, and this was back in 2008. I put some stuff on Craigslist in between jobs. I was like, man, I'm making more money than in my regular job. And kind of wish I had stuck to it, but I wasn't prepared at the time. You got to kind of have everything set up, your ducks in a row to actually get out there and do it. But I had a little taste, a little flash of what it was like, and I wish I had done it 10 years ago, but there's always a timeline for everybody. So, you know,
Brother, but think about this. If you didn't start 5 years ago, whenever you started, imagine how much farther behind you would be. So
yeah,
the thing is get started.
yeah,
Just go, because a lot of cast, man, they'll get on, they'll talk with me and they'll say, oh, this and that. And they'll always say, like, oh, I'm just saving up, or I'm just, putting things in order, or I'm, waiting for the right time. It's never a right time, man. Just do it, man. Cause,
yeah.
you're never gonna have all your tools. You're never gonna have, man, you just gotta go, man. Just do it. That's my
It is
opinion.
never, it's never right time, like you said. Like I was saying at the beginning, I had my 2 week notice for a year, and I went to work that day. Didn't expect to tell them that, but it was weird because I had so much side work. I wasn't scared of my job anymore. When you go to your job, that's your only source of income. And they can tell you what to do. That's your job. But at that point, I wasn't scared. I was just like, man. After that meeting, now I gave them a 3 week notice. When I left on good terms. Man, when I left my keys and walked out of that building, for about 30 minutes, I felt unemployed. I went to go have a beer, sat down at this bar. Man, I never looked back since that day. It was a Friday. That Monday, never looked back since that day. So,
Man, brother, it's so many, man. You know how many people are held back because of fear of that job security, and
yep,
that fear of, like, they don't know where the next dollar gonna come from.
mm-hmm.
That's
That's the
that's
truth.
that's basically like saying I give up on everything that's comfortable in life, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
venture into the unknown. That's basically what you're doing. But
Yep.
man, the proof is in the pudding, man. Like, there's so
Mm-hmm.
many success stories in this appliance repair thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
testimonials. Go on YouTube. There's other guys talking about what I'm talking about. Look how many companies are popping up daily doing appliance repair. Like, it's a profitable industry to be in, man. And there's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, just, like you said, the ingredients are, like you were saying, professionalism, integrity, all the stuff you was promoting. And
Mm-hmm.
man, work will find you, man. That's again my humble 2 cents.
Yeah, you stick to that, man. You can't go wrong. And people, they respect that. So,
Brother, listen, man. I'm honored that you were a part of the network from day one, man. And thank you for being on the podcast tonight. I know it's late in the evening, and I said an hour, and we coming up on the time. But again, I'm gonna bring back all my guests at a future time. So I'd love to get you on a part two. We'll let the questions down below fill up. We'll let a lot of people interject, and when we do come back and we do revisit one another, we'll address some of those topics in the comment section. But all in all, brother, man, it's your family. It's a pleasure to meet you. It was dope to hear your story, and thank you for being part of the squad, man. If anybody wants to reach you, man, do you have anything you want to promote, or how can people get in touch with you if you feel
Yeah.
comfortable?
I mean, no, I got a page. I mean, I put on some of my diagnostics. I've been slowly kind of putting that up online. I got a TC appliance repair.
On
That's
YouTube?
yeah, on YouTube. Um,
Subscribe right now. I didn't even know you had that. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm going right over to
it's TC appliance repair. Yeah.
Tango
So
Charlie Appliance Repair.
Tango Charlie appliance repair. Yeah. So I
And
put
what's
up
your
already
channel?
my diagnostic videos and stuff up there. So just trying to help people out the same way out at the beginning I needed help. So we all start
Hey,
somewhere.
listen, I feel like the industry needs a channel like that, man. The industry
Yeah.
needs it. We all need to do something, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so those videos are gold, man. And I'll definitely go subscribe as soon as I'm here, as soon as we're done here. Anything else? You got an Instagram?
Instagram TC Appliance Repair, Facebook TC Appliance Repair, same thing. Tango Charlie Appliance Repair. If anybody has questions or they're in my area, they want to hit me up with any questions, I'm more than happy to help. Because, like I said, man, we all start somewhere, man. And I want to pay it forward.
You going to ATSI?
I thought about it. I'm entertaining that thought. That's the one in Vegas.
Nah, they on the East Coast this year, Florida. Let me verify that. I ain't even buy my ticket yet. I'm going, but I ain't even buy the ticket yet. I'm one of them last minute kind of guys. It's somewhere in Florida. I don't want. I'll look it up at a later time. But
Yeah.
those little ventures are cool. Do you be going to like trainings and stuff in your area? Like your par houses provide any training?
What I've been doing is the MSA training. I do that a couple times a year, and if Reliable has training, I try to do that. The last one I went to was on that Samsung washer front load with the top load washer on top. That was actually a cool class right there.
It was like 175, right?
Well, when you have an MSA membership, you asked about the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have an MSA membership, I think it's like $29 if you're part of the MSA, which is not a bad deal.
No, I took the Samsung one from Reliable, the refrigerator one though. It was like
Mm-hmm.
179 or 175. But bro,
Oh yeah.
good. They give you fast tracks. They give you, you network. You get in touch with warranty. And PSA, public service announcement. If anybody, I need to speak to a Samsung rep, or I like to get on board with Samsung to do some of their warranty. So if anybody knows the contact info for that, please put it in the email me. I'll put my email below, but email me that info. But yeah, brother, you meet good contacts with those when you go to those little trainings and stuff. That's dope, man. It's good to hear your story, brother Gill.
I
And I
appreciate it.
hope
Hey, and I have you to thank for it, man. 'Cause everybody has an influence, man. So you influence a lot of people, and I'm in the mix too. So I appreciate it.
Oh man, but that's my karma, man. I do that so that the universe repays me, man. And you do good so that the universe repays you. And as long as we keep that chain, man, we gonna keep this thing positive. But brother Gil, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Love, peace, and harmony, man. I hope I
I
get to
appreciate.
see you again in the. Let me put a challenge on you. Next time I get you on here, I want you to have a customer service rep. That's fine.
All right.
A, a,
All
a,
right.
a good customer service rep that when I call, I could hear, "Thank you for calling TC Appliance Repair. How may I help you?" Big
All right. I
homie,
like
it's been
that.
a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Love, peace, and harmony, brother. You be
All
safe out there, all right?
right. All right. Take
All
care.
right, OG. Thank you,
All
brother.
right. All right.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
man.